Next up, we've got a pre-recorded video from Mr. Paul Davies. And Paul is from a great company called Think Sustainability, and we'll be talking about our infrastructure CoLab. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the presentation from Paul.
Hello, I'm Paul Davies from Think Sustainability. The adoption of circular economy practices offers Australian infrastructure significant opportunities in relation to procurement security, cost savings, and sustainable and responsible sourcing that can bring social, economic, and environmental benefits. These benefits, however, are yet to be fully demonstrated and realised in the infrastructure sector. However, there is now a collaboration occurring between the Infrastructure Sustainability Council of Australia, or ISCA, the University of Queensland, and Business Models Inc., which is looking to demonstrate how these circular economy principles can be effectively implemented in infrastructure through a unique approach involving key stakeholders up and down the infrastructure value chain. In terms of the value proposition for the project, there are a number of outcomes it's looking to demonstrate. Some is to challenge current thinking around circular economy principles and practices in their impacts on how we construct infrastructure, how it might affect the quality of finished infrastructure, or how it might impact revenue or costs for infrastructure owners, operators, contractors, and suppliers. The prevailing evidence and research does suggest, though, that sustainability and economic outcomes are often tightly bound together that make the adoption of circular economy practices just as financially viable and profitable as traditional linear economic models, and often more so. So the project will look to investigate how the robust application of these principles and practices in infrastructure will result in better designed, more efficient, resilient, and longer lasting assets, which at the end of the day are all positives from the perspective of suppliers, owners, operators, and users of infrastructure here in Australia. So where is the project at the moment? Well, the collaboration was formed late last year, originally to explore issues of procurement security in the infrastructure sector in southeast Queensland. It was decided to focus on southeast Queensland as that is likely to be an area of significant infrastructure development in the coming years. There are a number of approaches looked at in terms of how to progress this project, but the most promising approach was to adopt a collaborative lab style of approach. For those of you who know how these labs operate, they offer a high degree of flexibility, participation and innovation in terms of how research questions can be explored and solutions implemented. So that CoLab approach was agreed and is now being launched. In terms of project impacts, we're looking to provide a number of benefits from the project for stakeholders in the infrastructure sector. Some of those benefits could include the use of less materials in construction, the ability to demonstrate a return on investment from adopting circular economy principles, the ability to use recycled or waste materials in construction, the elimination or minimisation of using non-biodegradable materials, to achieve some recognition for those involved in the project who can demonstrate how circular economy outcomes have assisted them in terms of their business as usual practices, and very importantly to help Australia move along in reaching key sustainable development goals. The 9 specific sustainable development goals that this project will touch on include clean water and sanitation, industry, innovation, infrastructure, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, and finally affordable and clean energy. The project team at the moment consists of key individuals from the various partners, and that includes Ainsley Simpson and Patrick Hastings from ISCA, Christine Meath, Yurik Kolovsek and Claudia Rojas from the University of Queensland, Michael Eels and Chelsea Phillips from BMI, and myself from Think Sustainability. As the project develops, we're looking to expand the partnership beyond just academia and the industry bodies to include representatives from government, suppliers, contractors, as well as asset owners and proponents. So if you belong to one of those stakeholder groups, here's an opportunity for you to participate in the project, and that participation can be at a number of levels. That can be either hands-on involvement in the project itself, or sponsorship of certain parts of the project in terms of the research, or receiving updates on how the project is developing and moving forward. The project is long-term, and we expect its themes to evolve over the coming years in line with the changing needs of industry. But very importantly, we really do look forward to working with not just infrastructure stakeholders, but associated industries as well, because together we all can support the shift to circular economy practices in the sector. So why would you want to participate? Well, there are a number of advantages to participation. Firstly, you'd be part of a landmark collaborative project that is looking to deliver transformative change in industry practices in infrastructure. It also gives you the opportunity to help new infrastructure projects or existing infrastructure assets and their supply chains in southeast Queensland achieve better economic, environmental and social outcomes. You'd be also involved with a project that's looking to help Australia meet several of its UN Sustainable Development Goals. And you can also potentiate the likelihood of infrastructure in southeast Queensland achieving an ISCA rating, because ISCA ratings and circular economy principles are fundamentally intertwined. And just to finish up, here are the contact details for 3 people who would very much like to hear from you. We'd love you to participate in the project. We think the project is a critical one in terms of demonstrating how well circular economy principles and practices can work in the infrastructure sector in Australia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Think Sustainability.